What if I told you that in 1961, Ford designed an RV so futuristic, it looked like it drove straight out of a sci-fi movie? A vehicle that could become a camper, a pickup, a delivery van, or even a mobile office, all in one sleek, low-slung body. Sounds like something from the Jetsons, right? But this was real, almost. Meet the Ford Unitron, a bold concept that never made it to production but pushed the boundaries of automotive design. Buckle up, because we're diving into one of the most fascinating what-ifs in automotive history. Concept vehicles are more than flashy designs for auto shows. They're the testing ground for the future. Automakers use them to explore new technologies, design philosophies, and engineering possibilities. Most concept cars never see a showroom, and that's okay. Their purpose isn't to sell, it's to inspire and innovate. These vehicles are where wild ideas are born and where limitations are challenged. They can influence future models, technologies, and even the direction of an entire brand. Think of concept cars as the automotive world's version of a crystal ball, offering a glimpse into what could be, not just what is. Many features we take for granted today, touchscreen dashboards, electric drivetrains, and aerodynamic shapes, all began as wild ideas in concept form. Concept RVs, like the Ford Unitron, are even rarer. They tackle more than just transportation. They reimagine mobility, comfort, and multifunctionality. These concepts show us how cars can adapt to lifestyles, not just roads. The Unitron was one such visionary leap, a dream of a single vehicle that could do it all, arriving decades before van life even became a thing. In 1959, an idea was pitched within Ford that would grow into one of the company's boldest experiments. The booming post-war recreational market was in full swing, and one Ford executive had a vision, a vehicle built not just for travel, but for every lifestyle need, a Swiss Army knife on wheels. That pitch landed on the desk of George Walker, Ford's vice president of styling, who quickly passed it along to the corporate advanced studio. There, the project was handed to design chief Elwood Engel, who then enlisted studio manager Gail Halderman. But it was a young designer named Dean Beck, just 1 year into his career, who would bring the concept to life. Inspired by the space-age optimism of the 1960s, Beck sketched a sleek, aerodynamic, and multifunctional vehicle, the Ford Unitron. This wasn't just another camper. It was imagined as a modular vehicle that could serve as a home, a workspace, a transporter, or all of them at once. Unlike most RVs, it wasn't bulky or awkward. It was futuristic and elegant, with flowing lines and a panoramic windshield. From the start, the Unitron wasn't just meant to travel. It was designed to transform. The Unitron's design broke almost every mold. Its most striking feature? A wide, wraparound windshield made almost entirely of glass. The engine was pushed to the rear, freeing the front for that sweeping view and opening up space for passengers. The result was a vehicle that felt like a rolling observation deck, part RV, part spaceship. Dean Beck's sketches were clearly influenced by the space race and jet-age design cues. The Unitron looked like it belonged in an episode of Star Trek more than a Ford dealership. Yet it wasn't just about looks. The layout was deeply functional. The cab-forward design gave more usable space without bulking up the frame. It was long and wide like an RV, but low, very low, at just 56 inches tall. That's shorter than the average adult. The idea? A vehicle that could double as your daily driver and still park inside a standard garage. But that sleekness came at a cost. The low roof meant limited headroom, a serious problem for comfort. Even so, it was proof Ford was thinking way ahead of its time. This was more than a concept car. It was an experiment in mobility reimagined. Despite the headroom issue, the Unitron wasn't shelved immediately. The design team pressed forward, refining the concept and reimagining it as a dual-purpose vehicle, equal parts RV and mobile office. By late 1960, a full-scale clay model had been completed, and by August 1961, a fiberglass studio glider, essentially a non-functioning prototype, was revealed. This wasn't just a sketch on a napkin. It was a physical, touchable prototype. It lacked a drivetrain and a finished interior, but it had shape, form, and presence. You could stand next to it, well, tower over it, really, and imagine what it might be like to step inside the future. Unfortunately, the future would have to wait. Ford leadership ultimately pulled the plug. The market wasn't ready. The practicality wasn't there. And perhaps most importantly, the manufacturing costs didn't justify the experiment. The Unitron was shelved, and eventually forgotten. But its legacy didn't vanish. Because sometimes, even when a concept fails, it plants seeds for ideas that bloom later. The Unitron didn't make it to production, but the mindset that created it? That boldness? That curiosity? It absolutely did. While the Unitron project came to a quiet end, Dean Beck's career was just getting started. After the Unitron was shelved, Beck moved on to Ford's Mercury pre-production studio. There, his creative vision would help shape two milestone vehicles in American automotive history, the 1967 Mercury Cougar and the 1986 Ford Taurus, both groundbreaking in their own right. The Cougar brought European styling to the American muscle market. The Taurus revolutionized family sedans with aerodynamic styling and modern interiors. Beck's fingerprints are all over them. His early experience with the Unitron, where imagination wasn't just encouraged but required, clearly helped shape his approach to innovation and design. The Unitron may not have made it to production, but it wasn't a failure. It was a training ground, a glimpse into a designer's mind willing to challenge convention. And perhaps more importantly, it was a symbol of what concept vehicles are meant to be, not final answers, but bold questions. And today, over 60 years later, the Unitron still sparks curiosity. What if it had made it? What would RVs, or even daily vehicles, look like now? Concept vehicles like the Ford Unitron remind us that sometimes, the greatest innovations are the ones that never hit the road. They ask, what if? And dare to answer. The Unitron wasn't just a car, it was an idea, a vision of a future that was maybe too far ahead of its time. But without dreamers like Dean Beck and projects like this, the auto world wouldn't evolve. So the next time you see a concept vehicle, remember, it's not about production, it's about possibility.